Welcome to Moveable Dough. This is Steve Danielson. I'm a composer, conductor, and music educator. On this podcast, I talk with other composers and discover how they began their journey into composition. Join me each week as we explore their lives, their musical journeys, and of course, their music. To learn more about this podcast and access a complete archive of episodes, including the series of shorter segments called Movable Snippets, visit my website at sdcompose.com/movabledough. Hey, this is Steve. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Moveable Dough. My guest today is Santiago Veros. Santiago is a composer and conductor from Buenos Aires, Argentina. He studied composition at the National University of La Plata and now has compositions performed all over the world. He has written music for choirs in Argentina, Chile, the United States, South Africa, New Zealand, Taiwan, and several countries in Europe. In 2018, he became the first South American composer to write music for the largest choral festival in the world, the Europa Cantat, held in Tallinn, Estonia. Currently, Santiago works full-time as a composer and offers workshops to encourage the creation of new music and to write music in a community way. Santiago Veros, welcome to Moveable Dough.
Hello, Steve. Thank you for your receiving me like this. It's really nice to listen, to help people to understand my vision about music and to make connection, because to me the most important thing in the choral music is to create connection between people.
Excellent. And we will definitely bring that up a little bit later as well. But I want to start back at the beginning because I don't know much about growing up in Argentina and I want to hear all about it. So thinking back, what is your earliest musical memory you have from your childhood?
Well, I grew up being a musician. So at the time of 4 years old, I think 4 years old, I still remember me playing the drum and trying to play with the piano and guitar, because my family, the games of my family was playing music. So it's how I grew up in Argentina. It's just making music since a child.
So your whole family was making music together?
Well, we have a huge tradition in which there is a barbecue in the USA every Sunday, in which the whole family make a reunion between us to make a asado, which is barbecue, and in that, after to it, all of us play some instrument or sing or whatever. Even if you find in YouTube children playing chacarera or something like this, you can see them. It's something that I want to share in my classes in the university when I have visits, because it's really nice to have this moment to share time with your family making music, and it's pretty normal in Argentina. So yeah. So yes, since a child, I was a musician, and my whole family, yes, and my father was the professional one.
Oh wow, okay. So I heard that you started sort of studying music when you were about 7 years old. What were you doing? Were you doing piano lessons,
yes,
or what were you doing there?
It's another thing I studied. Sorry to speak it, but it's another thing to study and to play. I mean, you can be a children just playing and like a game, and then at 7 years old, I started to study with Valeria Pelka. She was my first professor, and right now she's. I am so proud of her because she is going to make a premiere of a piece of her in a California festival in a few days.
Oh, wow.
So she is a huge musician and was my first teacher.
Excellent. Was that piano or composition, or what were you studying at 7?
Guitar. My beginnings was like a guitar player until 15 years old. If you find in YouTube, you can see me on a jazz festival being a super child. And it's very nice to remember this, because I actually had a jazz band, and I was the guitar player.
Oh, that's awesome. So in Argentina, was there music in the schools, or is it just private lessons?
Private lessons. Sorry, it's sad, because I already received several invitations to work in the school in the USA, and you have a really huge tradition of choral music in the school, and the level is super high. So congratulations for this, and we need to learn about this because even in the public school is super normal to have a huge choir and a nice choir.
So when did you decide that you wanted to pursue music as a career?
Let's just say it was natural to me, but let's just say 8 years old, because 1 year after to start studying musician, I thought, okay, I want to, this is my life. This is the thing that I want to do in the rest of my life. It's super exciting. I thought, okay, I have this talent. I want to use it. So I was learning very, very fast, trying to get all the solid part of Pat Metheny, the jazz, and learning his album from his albums. And I thought, okay, I am a good guitar player, and I would love to continue with this. At that time, I never imagined to 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 make choral music.
So were you writing music for guitar at the time?
Yes, I have composition for this, for guitar, yes. And then I studied like classical guitar, making another composition, and the university got me the opportunity to record an album. And so my first album was for guitar.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So speaking of your
Yes.
university, so when you were studying composition at the university, what is one lesson that you learned from your professor that has made an impact on how you write music now?
I had problems uh, with singing, because I had phoniatric problems in my life, in my entire life. So to sing was super difficult to me. So I started to think, okay, I need to be in a choir. I need to start to sing, to try to make this signature of singing, because one of the signature was singing just. So that was very impactful in my life, because I started to sing in a choir, and to be in focus, to be the good a good singer. So this is what this was one of them. And then I was remembering in a class, one guy, my professor told me, what's the first class about composition and process, told me, well guys, well, hey folks, let's talk about the whole process, about to tell a story in a compositional process, to get materials and to get everything to create the story, and discover why the story is good or is broken, and discover how to tell a story. So right now I will tell the whole story in which a guy go to a casino, and then he won the lottery. The next day he killed himself. Why? So you have, as a writer, you have to write this whole story and tell the materials to create that plot twist for the next day. So this one, that was the really first exercise that I had as a compositional process, like a text. And then we discovered what is a material, how to create the stress of the story, and then then we started to create the same things, by making music, just using cells and phrases and everything that we know. But we have to learn. But at that time, but so this was the really first exercise that I remember as in a composition classes.
That is amazing. I love that. So I read that you began your career as a composer by writing for a children's choir. So how did you get that position, and what sort of challenges did you face?
What's the whole story? I always that was 10 years ago. So I appreciate Martin Kalustian. He got me this opportunity because after to work as ice cream delivery at 22 years old. I thought, okay, I have to become a professional. Right now, I was leaving the University of La Plata, finishing this, and in 2013, I started to think how to make myself a professional composer. So I went to Facebook. I wrote, okay, I need to work. Here we are. And Martin Calustian told me, Santi, I am having a problem with the children's. Right now, I have to take my children's with rehearsals, and they pay me for to the rehearsals and to create concerts and everything. And I'm losing all the children's. The children's are boring, and I don't know what to do. So probably you are more young than I. Probably yes. And you have this energy, this fresh energy, and I want you. Please come to my rehearsal, and probably you will become an assistant, like an assistant, right? So I went to the rehearsal, and he started like da 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 dum bum bum da 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 dum bum bum. Children's, my God, 5 years old. Of course, they are boring. They are boring because the first 10 minutes of your rehearsal is the worst part of your rehearsal. They will not pay attention. They will say to the family, I want to go to the swimming pool. No, go to the program, the summer program with this guy making da 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 da. So I told, hey, Marina, I am composer. First of all, I am a composer. I am not a conductor. I can't be your assistant, but led me to try to remember how I started studying music, like a game. I will start like a game, so I will give you several cells and several motifs to give like material to the children, and the children will make an improvisation on this, and I will create the whole piece making improvisation with cells. Are you agree with this? Of course, let's do it. And we tried. The first rehearsal was very successful. The second one was super successful. And then Martin told me, okay, I want that you create pieces every week, like back, every week for these children. And this is your job. You are a composer right now. And your job is to create those pieces with improvisation. Okay, I started, and to me was the hugest goal, because of course having children and trying to learn how the body works in terms of create music, and was super excited because I thought, okay, this works, this not works. This harmony, they can do this harmony, and it's super complex, but it's super intuitive, and now they can create this technique. They can create a cluster, and I started to learn how to create nice harmonies, having the worst terms of is not the most professional instrument, But even having this instrument, I started to create those kind of pieces. I wrote in 1 year, I wrote 52 pieces I kept during this work during 2 years. So I wrote almost 110 pieces. And yes, and only 3 pieces are in my website right now of that stage. So 3% of all the pieces that I wrote are really good, even today. But yes, it's a mistake to learn.
Awesome.
And I always appreciate this experience because it was magic to me.
So I want to go back to what you were talking about earlier with community. So on your bio and other places online, I keep seeing mention of your community spirit, how you like to use composition to help build community. So what does this mean to you and how do you accomplish this?
I love the fact to make a community because I grew up being alone. My mother was working in another country. My father was not there, and in a moment was my brother and I. That is all. So, like a therapy, I tried to make friends by using music, and music is the way to make friends, and is the most cool way to do it. So I always try to create this kind of community. And I'm super social person, and I love to make tours. But because having a good response to you is, well, of course, consortium is the best way to do it, and then making tours and making connection between choirs and choirs. Last year, I crossed from east to west, the whole country, the USA, of course. So having 3 months tour. So I love to make visit to the university because it's not only for teaching, but it's also for learning. Because your culture is amazing in terms of to create music. And and right now, for example, I am trying to learn how to improve the world in terms, in real terms. I mean, I am creating the earth, and it's a consortium in which I will donate part portion of that commission to plant trees, 5,000 trees. So I trying to use the community thing of the music to create an improvement for the community world. So I think that having a good connection between people is the way in which our life improve.
Yeah. So your consortium, Dear Earth, will somehow end up planting trees. How does that work?
I have an alliance with an organization, and you can see my website. And that is the thing. Anthony Silvestri and I was having a super hippie talk together, and then Jonathan Cohn, Adam Jonathan Cohn told me, Santi, I need a super Argentinian piece for a concert, and I need your piece, blah blah blah. And I thought, okay, we can connect this. We can connect that the fact that you need an Argentinian work, and I want to make an improvement in the planet, in the whole planet. So I will give you my fee. Santi, your fee are very high right now, as Jonathan said. So I told him, okay, I will donate part portion of this money to plant trees. So it's not cheap, and of course I have to pay the fee for Anthony Silvestri, right? So let's to create a consortium and connect and make a connection. And Anthony told, okay, but if they have the possibility to sell the live streams, because the choirs usually do that, you could make a donation for another NGO, or making or the same that Sandy's one. So trying to fix everything like this, we thought, okay, this is the opportunity to make it going through. So right now we are creating the consortium, and people can be part of this, and inside they have to do nothing more than be part of the consortium, and they will receive the huge piece, because it's 15 minutes of music, 15 minutes of music, and the poem is just fantastic. It's Anthony Sives, because he is incredible.
That's great. That was a perfect answer that actually answered my next two questions altogether. So that was great. So I got one more question for you before we take a break. So what do you like to do when you're not composing or making music? What sort of hobbies do you have?
Well, travel around the world is my hobby right now. Right now I am traveling with my girlfriend, and I'm in Peru right now. I've been in London, then I went to Italy. And after this tour in the USA, I have plans to be in Mexico, having and this is the thing that I love. Yeah, I love to create this moment for my life and exploring the world.
Sounds good. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will listen to some of Santiago's compositions. Welcome back. This is Steve Danielson. I'm talking today with Santiago Veros. We're going to start today with O Magnum Mysterium, which you mentioned earlier in the piece. This is a cappella, SSAA chorus. I'm always interested when I see a composer has created a new setting to an old text like O Magnum Mysterium. I like to know what new perspective that composer has. So talk to us about what sets your O Magnum Mysterium apart from others.
Well, O Magnum Mysterium is a very demanding piece in terms of technical terms, right? So this was the whole story. I mean, I received this commission, as I told before, and was for the high level students. And Martin told me, okay, write the most difficult piece that you can create, and you are very free for this. Okay, so I started to create a piece that comes from low to high. This is the whole story about the piece, is to create to make a new discovery, right? The born of Christ, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the piece started in the G and finish on the C, B flat. So this is a huge crescendo of the piece. So having this from the road to the top, I started to create and to set how to make the composition. And I thought the most difficult thing for the singer was having good entrance, because the singer was dizzy with this part. So I started to make the exercise of make a contrapuntistic and renaissance piece in the middle of the piece. You can actually see the whole entrance having imitations, and then having more loneliness entrance. And I thought about this, and then I thought, okay, if they had this part to make entrance, and they was very well making this, let's do it with create more complicated harmonies. That is why at the end of the piece, you can listen that the harmony is really changing every time, something that never happened before. The Alleluia, Alleluia is the part in which they change they have more changes about the harmony, and having all those things, I thought, okay, I create the piece for the class. You understand that the part, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, this choir is having this problem. Let's to make a piece for make this challenge for training those problems of for the choir. So I started of I started to thinking about how to create the story below the text, but also I started creating the technical things that they have to work on it. So sorry to be so technical about this piece, but it's a really technical piece, and that is why I created to create an improvement on the choir.
Oh, very nice. One of the things I like about the sound is it sounds both expansive and crunchy at the same time. It's got a great sound, and so I'm excited to listen to this. We're going to listen to Electro Women's Choir out of Vancouver, Canada, perform O Magnum Mysterium. All right, our second piece today, The Last March of Destiny. This is for SATB Chorus and Wind Ensemble. This is one of your pieces that focuses on environmental concerns, in particular, a call to do better with the environment that we have, as well as one of your collaborations with Charles Anthony Silvestri. So tell us about the journey of writing this highly dramatic piece.
Well, to me was a huge stage in my life, because was the first thing that I wrote. Well, second of first, because I wrote at the same time of Galaxias, but it was the first experience after the pandemic. So it was like a children very in a candy store. I am writing again. Writing again. Yeah. And yes, that is why it's super epic and super. It's like a victory. It sounds like a victory. You can take your flag in your house and feel like, what is the verb in the? Okay, I don't remember, but okay. So, I wrote this piece first with Anthony Silvestri, trying to create the text together and to generate this commission. And we made the group, and was fantastic. I still remember it. This is the thing. I received invitation to be a jury in Russia, in a contest, right? So to create to be sure when you are a jury, after the whole gala concert, the jury presents their pieces. So they commissioned they also commissioned me a piece. Having only one choir, the problem was that if you sum the piece of mine and Tony, you have a high feel. So we create this consortium, and we talk about the second opportunity that we have in our life, because after the pandemic, that was my vision. We have another opportunity. At that time I was in intensive care, intensive therapy, in an hospital before, because I had health problems, and after living this, I wrote about the second opportunities. So we needed a super powerful song to make to tell this story, to show how about our decision about to stay alive and to live our life with a good commitment, and take the power of take the power of our life and do something. So we started having this idea, and I started with the tom 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 da 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 tom 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 like here we are. I have this decision. I will follow this. So we create this part in which nothing was super clear. We said far. It was far at that time. Oh, far. So and after this, the cube core appears with a cube rhythm, and then the angels appear to guide us this second opportunity.
All right. Well, we are now going to listen to The Last March of Destiny, here performed by ensembles from Northern Illinois University with Eric Johnson conducting. All right, our third piece today, Lake of Stars for SSAA Chorus. Again, a collab with Silvestri. So when you're working with a text as evocative as Silvestri's, what is your approach? Are you thinking about text painting? Are you trying to create memorable melodies? What is your priority in your process?
Well, to me, the shape of the piece is the most important thing I mean, the first class of compositional process was to tell the story, and you need to discover how to create the form, because your story has a shape. So the first thing, after having a conversation, I will tell the whole story, but to respond your question was having the shape of the piece. So even in my YouTube channel, there is an interview in which Anthony Silvestri and I talk about the whole process. How do we create this? And the shape of the piece. So I started by writing. I usually start by writing a draft poem, and the poem is the worst one. It's not good. It's really the worst. For example, the earth is burning and blah 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 blah. And here talk about this thing. The point itself say give the instruction how to continue. And after having all the stanzas and all the shape of the poem with the most structural thing and most powerful phrases there, I usually send to Tony. After this, we have a Zoom session with Tony, talking about how to proceed about this, right? We have several feedbacks about this, and then I start to create the piece, but having the shape of the piece in my mind. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the whole process, because this piece, in fact, was super special to me. Was the start of a really good friendship. This is the whole story. We have to go back to 2020. What a fantastic year. And I had a presentation in Rochester, New York, in the ECDA conference. I had a presentation of Human. After this world premiere, Brian Stevens come to me and say, Santi, I need to take a coffee with you because I want to make a commission. And I said, okay, you have my time. I can give you my time. And then, as I was, my question is, what is your favorite thing to do in your life? Because it's not only music, I think. And he told me the story. My father is flautist, and we never share moments together. But my favorite thing to do in my life is to share time with my father, to go to fish and to stay in the lake, listening the silence, and stay. And I never feel alone when I am with him. And I said, do you have in mind to make a concert together? No, Santi. No, Santi. So I have to create a piece to make a connection with him, because I want to help you to have more moments with your father, and I don't want that you feel alone. And I want to create this opportunity to you. I want to create this piece. Please give me the opportunity to do it. And he said, okay, let's do it. We started to create this scenario in the lake, having a time together. But first of all, feeling the loneliness, feeling alone. That is why the poem is so sad at the beginning, because he said the rest of my life, I feel alone when I am not with my father fishing. So can you imagine how sad is to feel alone, even having the family and everything? So I thought about this, and few months after this, of course, we had the pandemic. Few months after this, I thought, Ryan, we have the whole time for us to think about this piece, and we have to make it come true. So Ryan said, "Okay, I will talk with Electra," and I said, I have to connect with Philip Swan because he is my real friend, and I want to create this consortium out together with the whole high quality choirs, right? So Electra said, yes, of course, we need another piece from Santi because we did O Magnum Mysterium, and we are thinking to make a commission.
Okay, well, we are going to listen to Electra's Women's Chorus perform Lake of Stars. All right, our last piece today, Galaxias, for SATB chorus, piano, and crystal glasses. So this is one for which you wrote both music and lyrics. And I find when I write both parts like this, the piece takes on extra special meaning. So tell us about the lyrics and what you were thinking or feeling as you wrote this piece.
Well, as I told you, was written at the same time of the last March of Destiny. I received this commission in Canada a few months before to go to the hospital, right? And I started like, okay, it's another work. It's another job that you have in your life. Was nice because people was trying to create connection and having a space between them and not having a real choir. It's just at that time at the end of 2020, choirs means 10 people singing, having 20 meters between them. so I thought, okay, let's to talk about the galaxies and people that let's start thinking about the stars are located between 100 years years of distance, right? Light years of distance, right? And still they are part of a community called galaxy. So if we change this concept and thinking about people usually shine and share their lights and their knowledge and their thinking and their thought having all the distance, and still they are people connecting between people. So when you read a book, you are connecting with a guy that not exists right now, but you're still connected, right? Mm-hmm. Because the book was written 200 years ago. So that's the thing. So all of us are part of this community, being present or not. That is why I thought to introduce the idea of ancestors in this poem. And the light is always there. So after having this idea, I shared the idea with the conductors. They were friends between them, and they pretended to create a mini consortium between two choirs. And I thought, okay, this is super cool. And I continue with my life, waiting for the response of the conductor, right? So December 22nd, I think. I went to the hospital, and 2 months later, I went back to my house. And after this experience, everything in my life changed. I thought, okay, the days of my life are counted, and I need to do something with my life, with something that have a good mark, have a good impression, and give the best of myself for the people. I have to be serious about this. I have to be super serious. So I changed everything. I started with the poem, trying to say in a very complex way, please, your life is ending, do something. Do something. So the light is there, and you have this light. So from the poem starts telling, y la tiniebla del ocaso, the most darkest place of the dawn will keep there, but the shadows uh, will over that darkness, and you have the opportunity to share your life and your shine and your light, yes, your light, with the others, and to make a connection and to appreciate your life uh, with the other. That is why I think that is super meaningful to me. This piece is, I think that sorry to be honest, but it's the thing that I feel right now. It's the most one of the most important one uh, in my repertoire right now, because it's super meaningful to me. It's the piece that I wrote after having this terrible experience, and it's the piece that I wrote having in mind the fact that it's my mission, my life, the mission of my life is to create this community, and writing for choir is the opportunity to create the community. It's the opportunity to, when you are going to sing in a choir, you have an experience that you have nothing in the rest of your life. It's super special, and the kind of connection that you have is 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 uh, you can compare it this kind of experience, and it's super meaningful, and you have no words to explain that kind of connection.
Yeah.
And I think that writing for choir, and because I started like a guitar player, and I changed my life when I discovered this instrument, because you can establish a real and a meaningful connection. And I think that this piece is about this. It's about the connection between people, no matter the distance, no matter the time. It's about the connection between people.
All right. Well, we are now going to listen to Galaxias, performed by Lawrence University Choir, conducted by the composer. Well, Santiago, if my listeners want to learn more about you, where are you located online? What's your website?
My website is santiagoveros.site, and then I actually use Messenger in Facebook and my mail. I love having Zooms. I love this kind of time and the technology thing to make it. And I always love to talk. So if people want to reach to me, I always have time to like we did. We say, okay, in 15 days, okay, let's do it. I have time in the probably I have not time the next week or the other one, but I always have time for this. It's something that I love, and as I told, I love the connection. So yes, people could send me an email, and then let's coordinate a Zoom together. And this is how I love uh, to live. So
Fantastic. Well, hey, listeners out there, I hope you are enjoying today's episode. I'd like to ask for your help to get the word out about Moveable Dough. On your podcast platform, please like, comment, rate, review, subscribe, whatever it will let you do. The more interaction you give, the more likely that Moveable Dough will be shared with others, and we can build a bigger Moveable Dough community. Let's work together to help others discover Moveable Dough. Well, Santiago, it has been a lot of fun to talk to you today. Thank you for joining me on Moveable Dough.
Steve, thank you for your time, for your invitation. It was super meaningful to me to share this with your audience, and I'm happy with the work that you do.
My guest today was composer Santiago Veros. If you have a recommendation for a future guest or an idea for the show, please email me at moveabledough@gmail.com. This is Steve Danielson. Keep the music moving.